Boruto Tubu Vortex is back with another chapter, and oh my goodness. We have some good juicy storytelling right in front of us. If you haven't read the last chapter, let me give you a quick synopsis. Boruto single-handedly changed the timeline by helping Team 7, which alerted Jura, and their battle lasted about 10 minutes, with Jura defeating Boruto in the end. But little did he know that limitless Kawaki would arrive and give Jura his first belt to ass. It was lovely seeing Kawaki look cool again. Hasn't happened since before the time skip, but now we're here. And just when we thought Kawaki was getting ready to kill Jura, I really thought he was going to pull this off. This man pulls a library book from nowhere and regenerates the full form as if nothing happened, leaving a nice calm stalemate, and Jura lets Kawaki know that he'll be coming for his glorious Naruto, so be ready. And then we get one of the best speeches as Kawaki declares if he ever touches Lord 7th, that will be the end of Jura as we know it. And the chapter starts off with Konohamaru getting his sweet Momoshikki back by freeing her with the divine fruit. Yes, we got another useless character back. How wonderful. But it's actually kind of heartwarming seeing everybody's reaction to her coming back to her regular self. And look at Boruto just showing off in the sky above, just flying and looking cool and shit. This guy is the epitome of what it means to be fly. Looking like the all-seeing eye. And it looks like Shinki has also been unsealed, and both him and Gar are in recovery mode. Just wonderful. I love that these two characters are back. I needed Gar to survive. I didn't want him to die again in the beginning of Shippuden, or the time skip technically. But yeah, that's great. Shit. The elders are calling on Lord 8th to come and answer some questions. I'm gonna love this so much. Real tension between Hokages and village elders is literally peak cinema. This is the fabric of Naruto. Nothing more interesting than politics in the shinobi world. In the next panel, we see Sakura back in the fold. Oh man, how I've missed you. How I went from once hating you to smiling every time I see you when you show up in Boruto. Man, round of applause for the great Sakura Haruno Uchiha, the best girl in the series, behind her daughter, especially after that performance she just put on. Back to the story at hand, Sakura lets everyone know that Momoshikki's organs are abnormal due to her lack in nutrition and that she will be okay, which is very good. I'm glad she'll come back to being normal again. Scene then flips to a side conversation between Sumire and Sarada, and a whole bunch of hoopla, but the real housewives of Konoha are back, as Sarada basically confesses that she likes Boruto and that she's really never acknowledged her own feelings up until this moment. But let's be very honest, we all kind of knew this. Boruto has the husses, easy and simple. Ever since he got that scar in his eye, he's been running up the score. Jiraiya Sensei would be very proud of this young man. But it's interesting to know how omnipotence has done a real number on her. Before Yodo died, she asked her why she was deceiving herself into thinking that Boruto was some sort of good guy, and that fighting against orders that he is to be killed on sight was kind of treasonous. She even questions whether or not someone like her should even become Hokage. And look at Ada, just snoozing in their conversation. The tea was too hot, and she couldn't ignore it. The girlies truly are fighting. Sarada keeps going on and on, talking about how her desires to help him is unexplainable, and it even makes her stronger. Sasuke and Naruto shippers have finally got everything they wanted, and it actually makes sense this time. And Uzumaki and Uchiha, which happens to be their children. A match made in heaven. Anyway, Sumire says that you can confess your love to him all you want, but she won't hold back either. It's a battle to the end. This kind of feels like the dynamic between Karin and Sakura, in which they're both fighting for the love of Sasuke. Like teacher, like son, either you have it or you don't. But I'm low-key confused in this panel right here because who is Ada talking to right now? The story then shifts over to Himawari and she is training with Kurama. Oh, this is wonderful. Look at baby Kurama. So cute. But it's interesting to see how he doesn't consider her a Jinchuriki and that she is more like Jura. But that makes sense because he was reborn inside of her, unlike the rest of the Jinchurikis in Naruto who had their tail beasts sealed into them. That does make me wonder, Is there a scenario where they could be separated like how the Akatsuki used to do to their prey? She is the embodiment of chakra itself, so it makes me wonder how strong she could become, considering she could possibly be maybe twice as strong as Naruto in Biju mode. And the reason I think this is because Naruto and Kurama were more so of a partnership. Himawari and Kurama are one, and she has the full potential of Kurama, so there is a nice way to introduce some unique abilities. And boy, we see Boruto sitting somewhere in space-time, and look who it is. The boogeyman himself has finally showed up. Momoshikki wonders why Boruto has contacted him. And this is my lovely imp. Actually, let me stop. That's actually mean as hell. Sorry, Mr. Shiki. I shouldn't have said that. He starts to talk about how he should have abandoned him when Kawaki killed Boruto because he can no longer control his mind and reincarnation is impossible. So the only way for him to be free is with the death of Boruto Uzumaki. And Boruto is playing a very dangerous game here, asking Momoshikki to lend him some strength, saying that he will give him his body if he is able to defeat Jura. And holy pause, Boruto, that was a little crazy. Your entire body? Come on, man. But let's get back on subject. I love how high Kishimoto is raising the stakes. This is proving one thing, that Jura really is that strong and inevitable. Even though Kawaki seemed to apply an insane amount of pressure to him, he knows that in the end, Jura will probably beat the both of them even with Kawaki's limiters removed. However, if they can both use karma together, they could probably defeat Jura. Probably. However, if he lets Momoshikki take his body to defeat Jura, I believe there's a possibility that he might not get it back for quite some time, and maybe there's a possibility that he could never get it back. Everything about resonance has proved that Momoshikki's power is too strong for Boruto to control. And I really do think Momoshikki has time manipulation ability, which is why I think he was so jealous of Boruto being able to live so carefree, because he knows that Boruto has to live or else he dies, which might be the reason why Koji had an update to his timeline, and Koji might be realizing that he might be the only one that can alter reality unbeknownst to him. And it's just weird that Koji didn't see a future where Kawaki comes to help him. So this further helps me prove my theory that Boruto is a clog in the system. And I could be wrong, but unless Koji's prescience ability has flaws, I think it's safe to assume that Momoshikki played a part in why Boruto is still alive, and that's why he's over there being so nonchalant. He says, and I quote, "I'm at the very bottom of despair, just like this," which is an interesting choice of words. This exchange is probably the most significant one to happen so far in this time skip. Beautiful dialogue, and I promise you, we'll be back to this because it would be a reference to everything that happens moving forward. And the chapter ends off with Sarada and Sumire saying Boruto probably doesn't realize how they feel about him. Yeah, this has to be girl math. I'm sure Boruto knows that he has y'all under his spell. Do y'all think he's that dense? He just doesn't have the time to acknowledge y'all right now because every second of the day, he's getting closer and closer to meeting death. He is not worried about y'all right now, I promise.